let's see. There you go. Cool. We got it. All right. Good evening. Welcome to the third in our series of iChat seminars. Tonight we have Scott Hennessy, the Director of Creative Services for Olympus USA. Scott has been involved in the world of advertising, marketing, design, web, everything you could think of since 1996. That's 13 years a professional. He was my student from 92 to 96, and then came back to the IMA around roughly 2001, maybe 2000. Spent a year in the IMA, and then things got very, very busy at Olympus because it was a true resurgence of the web as a delivery vehicle for content. And they had lovely offices in Melville, beautiful offices, beautiful building. Brought me in at one point to train a little bit on Flash, because it was kind of new at the time. It was only 3 or 4 years old. And action scripting had just become available in Flash in the last 2 versions. So I kind of went in, did a little training with Kevin Holdy, one of my other students. The entire place was my students, which was nice. I was very comfortable. Scott was lead designer and developer. Kevin was his subordinate or worker. And Karen was, at the time, your boss.
Correct.
And Karen Seitz, another IMAer. And then there was a main gentleman who oversaw the entire department, who was quite the visionary. I like to think that he had a true understanding of what I was at least talking about. And they had a very open kind of Chelsea Soho studio mentality with curved desks and windows and hardwood floors and carpeting. And I was like, this is pretty cool. I could work here. And I think Denise DiGiovanna did some work for you too.
Yep,
She came in,
freelancer.
another IMAer, and I was
John
at.
Hebra.
What's that?
And John Hebra too. We also hired.
Hebra was in there? Okay, I didn't realize that. And I actually was asked, along with Denise, to do a game for iSnap camera, which I figured out in my pool. I used to sit in my pool like a sort of like a water buffalo in a way, and sit there and just think about how I would build this game. I would figure out the scripts in my head without a pen or pencil and think about the variables and what I would have to. I actually do no coding. And figure this all out while I was floating around the pool, take my break, come inside, and start to write my code and figure it out, because coding takes time to think about. It's that different side of the brain, okay? Now, Scott, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, right? And I'm going to let you talk for a bit.
Sure.
As a designer, as a developer, as a marketer, as all of these things, these hats, literally the New York Yankee one, that you have to wear today, right? How do you break this up, man? I mean, like, what's the deal here? How scattered is your thinking? And I'm not saying scattered in a bad way, but how many things do you have to wrap your brain around before you come to a conclusion? Is it tough to launch a new product? Is it, how many processes do you have to go through? Because that's what they're writing for me, by the way, right? Your papers. What's the steps to the process? Look, listen, and learn. Talk to the marketing manager. You take it.
All right, that's a very good question. The way we're structured here at Olympus is the department that I head up is Corporate Creative Services. We are a support group for the business groups. Now, their business groups break down to 2 areas, actually 3 areas. One being consumer, the other one being healthcare, and then there's our corporate client that we support for communications. So if any given project comes across, and I'm going to probably talk more towards consumer tonight because everybody's a consumer, and in the support area for graphic design, multimedia, social media, and mobile, we're supporting that area stronger right now. So if a given product comes out, it could be any kind of camera or any kind of binocular or voice recorder that's developed by Olympus, we sit down with that department, the consumer department, and sit down with the product manager like Pat just said. What we do is we do an interview. We do a strategy discovery meeting with that product manager. We learn about the product. Pat taught me very early, you can't design what you don't know. So basically, if it's a camera, I get the camera early in a prototype state, and I play with the camera. I try it out, I try to figure out what's new about it, what's appealing, and then I go back and forth with the product manager to understand what they're trying to have the consumer understand. What are the main selling points or the benefit of the technology that you're asking me to produce for marketing. So, a new camera, let's just say there was a new functionality called face detection. Everybody knows about it because Apple put it in their computers, other competitors utilize it in their cameras. So when that came to us, they said, we need you to promote face detection. So what we did was, again, we operated it, we played with it, we understood it, and then we sat down and we built a media strategy around that functionality. What were the digital touch points, which, where do we need to have this conversation at? On the website, in our print material, in our kiosks, in our trade shows, in our communication also to our brand advocates out in the social media world. We need to have the same message all the way across all the mediums. One of the most overused words in today's graphic design world, which you're gonna, you probably heard and you'll hear more as you go on in your career, is synergize. You have to be, your messages must be synergetic. It must be the same from print, the same online, the same in mobile, the same on a DVD, the same on a kiosk, the same on a billboard. You drive it home all the way through. So getting back to Pat's question, we sit down with the product manager. We understand the product from the outside case to the inside technology to the feeling the end user or the customer is going to get when they're utilizing innovative technology from Olympus. We take all that passion and we put it into our marketing and put it out to the people.
Now, one of the things I want to talk to you about, I mean, it's a great answer, Scott, and really, really, really descriptive. You have heavy competition in your marketplace today. Every, Coolpix, Nikon, everybody and their brother is a photographer today. Every cell phone has a camera.
Right.
And the question becomes, do I need a camera? They're getting better, 10, 12 megapixels, going up to 16, I would imagine.
Yep.
You've got Pico, which is the projector, right? Yeah, you laugh, and I even know about that, right? At my age, I should just be sitting around going, where's my salad? But I'm interested in all this stuff. You now have Pico, which is available within Samsung's phones. So now you go to a meeting, you have a nice phone, you have a projector built into the phone. You don't need to bring anything else. It's Wi-Fi enabled. You sit down, call up your presentation. It presents up to 52 inches on a board. You thumb through, multi-touch your screens. You close it, put it in your pocket, get back on the plane, and that's it. Okay? So this technology is fast and furious right now. So, what's that?
I was agreeing with you. Technology is very fast right now.
Very fast. Way past Moore's Law of 18 months.
Definitely.
Into a 2 and 3 month cycle right now. We don't even know what's coming out. One of my major salivation points right now is iTablet. Because I believe that it's going to, if they would put a phone in that, yep, a Bluetooth enabled phone, it's over. Game's over, go home, it's done. For the Kindle, for the Nook, for every e-reader device coming out from anybody, game's over, okay? So, with all of that competition, one of the things you need to build, I would imagine, is a strong, let's call it fan base,
Right.
which is where Facebook comes in, which I hate the product only because I've seen the damage it's done in academia, okay? The damage it's done in academia is monumental. RAs being fired, athletes losing scholarships, teachers losing their jobs. It's just the wrong environment for education. It is a social media structure. It started out in education because that's where Zuckerberg stole it from, and he stole it. ConnectU was the original, and he stole the product, and he never talked about it. But social media today was ignored in a sense of a fad. It's really, okay, I got to be careful here. I've heard some people within the hollowed halls say that a blog is nothing more than, I had this for breakfast, I had that for breakfast. Couldn't disagree more. A blog is a way of invading